Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Jay here with you. Last podcast from the cottage, and I have Jackie Otama here with me as a career and leadership coach and mentors a lot of kick-ass people, a lot of leaders. So I wanted to invite her here and want to have her, and I wanted to talk about the great resignation happening right now, and the fact that we don't need to have 40 to 50% of people looking to leave their job, their position, right? We can do different, we can be different, we can have different, especially as leaders, especially people that are leaders. I want to talk to Jackie today. Changes we can make be done. Welcome, Jackie, by the way. It's great to have you here.
Thanks, James. Pleasure to be here.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Hoping through the audio is coming through okay. I'm gonna let you answer most of the questions, and I'll just speak briefly today because the internet is so for some reason. So what we're seeing recently, there's this statistic about 40-50% of people actively looking to leave their job, and it's a scary number for a lot of companies, businesses, managers, leaders, executives. We're seeing around that first off, and people looking to jump, looking to stay, and how is it affecting leaders?
Well, I think one of the big things I'm hearing about is the Great Resignation, and what I think is happening there is they're dissatisfied where they currently are in the current role that they are in, and so they come to me for career coaching to change that situation. They know it can't stay the same, and they want to make a shift, whether that's moving to the next level, whether that's creating change within their own organization, or deciding whether this organization and this role doesn't any longer fit them and they want to leap and see if the grass is greener somewhere else. What's interesting about that process when I start working with them, once we shift, that we do some coaching and shift their limiting beliefs and their mindset issues and their blocks, and we clear some of those blocks, they realize that just making some minor shifts within their current role leads them to the success and the desire that they have within the job that they have already. And then some of them will come to me and it's time to make the move. They've been in the role for some time. They feel stagnant. They feel stuck. They don't know how to make a transition or a transformation on their own. And they partner with me to be able to do that.
Very cool. Very cool. So it sounds like whether they're a leader and they're unhappy with or they're a leader who maybe has faced a lot of people leave, it's just some tweaks, some changes that can make a big difference in things.
And it's huge.
There's that saying. Well, exactly, right. And there's that saying that the grass is greener where you water it. It's not always greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. I think you're right. It's so important to remember that, and to that wherever you do the work is where you're going to get the results, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important to keep in mind. And it's about getting out of their own way. About reprioritizing what's important.
Fair point. Versus just paying the bills, right? Versus only paying the bills. Are you at an organization who truly gets you and treats you like you want to be treated and you like their culture, versus either being in or accepting or looking for a different job because it gives you more money? I mean, once you cut it in half for our Canadian income taxes, is it really that much more money? Is it really worth working for somewhere where you don't love, where you feel you're selling your soul, or you hate your boss or whatever? Is it really worth it? Or is there, and I love your thoughts, you water the grass on your side and do the shifts, the transformations, the growth, get out of our own way as well. What do you find works best? You mentioned a few things as well, looking at ourselves where we get in our own way, limiting beliefs as well. What do you find can work really well to have people renewed vigor for it? And this is for people watching, but also on how they can also make sure that their teammates. So what are great ways to have people have like renewed vigor and interest in their job versus I don't like this, or I don't like the culture, or I want to leave. What do you find are some great ways to shift and transform and develop?
Well, I think one of the main things that when someone partners with me for coaching, we first work on self-care. A lot of
Mhm.
people
Right.
have decided to prioritize everybody else around them. And unfortunately, if you're not putting the oxygen mask on yourself, you can't save others. You're not optimizing at your best.
Yeah.
Your anti self has kicked in as opposed to, um, you know, making sure that your best self is moving forward. So, one of the things that we do is self care
So
for
true.
sure, figuring out that plan.
Mhm.
And the other thing I think people are looking for is purpose and meaning and fulfillment with the work that they do. I mean, it's a third of our lives every day. So, we want to make sure that it counts. They want to leave behind a legacy
Yeah.
that's important to themselves and set a good example for their kids as well. So, I think that all comes into play as well. So, it's about in order to get results, you've got to start with yourself first. Figure out who you
Mhm.
are. What are your strengths? What are the things that really get that fire burning in your belly? And, and then
Mhm.
creating a plan around that for change. So it could mean, a few small shifts, but when you're operating at the subconscious or the unconscious level, which is where we're operating 95% of the time
Yeah.
with our beliefs, with
True.
the way we think, the things we do, the actions we take, the feelings and emotions we have. We're operating from the subconscious level for the
Mhm.
majority of what we do every day. And we've
True.
got to get in touch with that subconscious. So I joke with my clients that I'm able to speak to their subconscious or their unconscious mind, which is where they're operating
Mhm.
from 95% of the time. And when you can
Fun.
do that and pull out of them exactly who they are and what they want to be doing and what's going to give them that purpose, meaning, and fulfillment, that just everything else shifts, it clicks, and then it almost is like the peak of the mountain. You get to that highest point, and then you have that view, that clarity, that holistic perspective, basically, which is why I named my coaching consultancy 5 point perspectives, right? So
And it's fascinating because it's funny. I just got off the phone. I had a great conversation with a great woman, talking to her about how, yeah, it's like being more self-aware. Because at your point, our conscious and unconscious mind, our subconscious mind, 95% of our brain. One of the reasons our brain is so efficient, to your point, it's on automatic all day long. It's how we can be driving and we're like la 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 la, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you're back to present. You're like, how am I driving my car? How am I at work? Why am I at work? I don't remember the past 10 minutes. I'm here safe. No idea how it happened, but or you'll wake up like driving. You'll be like, oh, I'm driving. Where was I? 5 minutes, and you're safe. You're driving. So to your point, we're often, not often, we're always through our day on autopilot, and right, which is not always as ideal because our autopilot is produced by past failures and programming and belief and the way we grow up, and that's affecting us and also limiting us. Programming, the poison we've heard, past things, failures, you name it, experience limit us. So I love what you're saying is we help get us out of our own way. We need to do the work on these deep-seated beliefs, whether it's imposter syndrome or self-doubt or not feeling we're worth it or we're capable. It's all nonsense, and we have to realize that it's not even our brain, it's not us, it's not our voice, it's someone else's voice. So I love that you first step to look at, you realize, why am I doing this? I'm doing whatever task, whatever thing, whatever sabotage, whatever habit. Why am I doing this? And be reflective and step back from it. Why am I checking emails when I should be making calls, or when there's way more important things to do? Or why am I don't know, on Facebook when I need to be making calls, or calling the boss or something, or whatever. That's really interesting too. Um, how can leaders help facilitate these changes in people so that people aren't, either sabotaged by their own self-conscious, so they're not unhappy and they're not wanting to lead. How can leaders help facilitate this and even their teams and their employees to make some shifts, to look at, well, what is my life, what's not working in my career, and what's not working in the way I'm being in my life or career? And that's the disconnect. How can leaders help coach people on this?
So agreed. I think that starting with themselves first and clearing some of those blocks are key. The thing I'm finding is that when I'm talking to a lot of leaders, I'm asking how their life is going, and we start with a whole life wheel to look at them from a holistic perspective. You know, if their relationships at home are suffering and their health is suffering, which is very common. A lot of people come to me not feeling great, not feeling energy. They're having illness. It's starting to manifest in their body, all of these things that they're thinking in their minds at the subconscious level or the unconscious level. And they are manifesting illness because there's energy trapped in their body. Basically is what I can break it down to. I'm doing a lot of mind-body connection research to help my clients. The way that they can help their teams thrive is to help themselves thrive first. Start with yourself first. Self-care is absolutely critical. And you know, there's an accountability component that comes along with partnering with a client through the coaching process. And that's a one-on-one process for me. I see a lot of group coaching going on, and that's fine. Everybody has their own way of doing things. People tell me, and leaders tell me, things that they don't even tell their spouse or their family or their best friend. It's an unbiased, impartial, very highly confidential relationship that we form. And it goes as deep as the clients I work with are able to go. And so it's a very one-on-one, step-by-step, just-in-time coaching process that we go through that makes sure that we're uncovering a lot of this stuff that's bogging them down. People come to me very heavy, weighted with a lot of stuff that they're carrying around, a lot of baggage. And, you know, very quickly we're able to release that and to clear the fog. I say it's like they can't see the end of the light of the tunnel. What we do is we clear everything that's going on around them so that they can see the light at the tunnel. And then that's what we create the action plan around is getting to that light at the other side.
Right on. Fair enough.
So
well, and exactly. So I guess can leaders almost become coaches to their team, and ask these questions? Hey, what's going on? And maybe be interested and involved in their lives, because to your point, our personal lives dramatically affect our professional lives performance. If something's going on at home, maybe they just need someone to talk to or to vent to. And I agree with the mind-body connection. If I test out my body, it doesn't do well. I put on weight, whereas if I'm relaxed, I tend to lose weight. I have more energy. So as well. So I think, and obviously affect my performance there, any leader, and even if it's like just a senior at a company looking out or having an interest in other employees, I think helping them figure out what's going on personally and what's not working in their life and their work, and both, I think that can really help with energy levels, with stress, depression, absenteeism, sickness, you name it. So I think it sounds like having leaders take more of a coaching role versus just a managerial role. Have a coaching role. Okay, what's not working? What do you need? What's going on? And getting real with people, but also having a motivational role as a leader, again, instead of just someone telling someone what to do, right? And having a motivational, inspiration role, inspiring people to be at their best and to continue growing and learning and really giving. It sounds like that's what I'm hearing, is it makes the ultimate leader and stops this, half the workforce wanting to lead. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. And I think that, every great coach has a coach. And I have a couple. Right? If I'm not clearing my own stuff, I'm bringing my own crap to coaching relationships, right? So it's
Yeah.
about, leaders having their own coach, learning the skill set of coaching to the best of their ability through the coaching process and the partnership,
Yeah.
and then taking some of those skills that they've learned through their own experience, taking them back to their team and saying, you're just like what you said, what's happening in your life? How can I support you through that? And if there
Yeah.
isn't anything I can do, at least empathize with their situation and hear what they're saying. One thing I'm a trained coach, so and counselor. And so I'm trained to listen. I'm trained to listen at a level 3. Most people listen at a level 1. So we're not
Yeah.
necessarily trained to listen for what's not being said. We're just trained to hear just hear the words that the person is actually saying. So it's about, asking the right questions, asking open-ended questions, and making sure that the listening is there, and the empathy is there. I think
Yeah.
that this would
And if
reduce
making sure they're even,
employee turnover.
yeah, and making sure they're even present for that, right? Making sure they're actually present. Well, you said listening level 1. Well, and then what if they're not even present, or I gotta fix the car later, I gotta see email, I gotta be in this meeting, or my wife's mad at me, or my kids are doing this and that. A lot of people are not even present barely. They pretend they're there. And I really like what you said. It didn't mean to interrupt, but I thought at that point, because I think it's value that even having someone to listen to and give you that empathy in that time, whatever it is, especially it's a manager, it's someone you're going to see, third to half of your day, right? So if that's someone you can trust, and you trust, and that inspires you, they can quickly, like, even if I'm off base, my the same way. Make sure everyone that wants to be high performance should have a coach or mentor of some sort. And if I'm off base, or not, I'm lacking productive, or I'm in the dumps or something, my mentors and coaches quickly bring me out of that. And I think great leaders can do that easily. And then the employee goes back, and then they rock the rest of the day, or they rock the rest of the week without, slagging through and just waiting for the week to end because they're miserable. And it's amazing. I think when we have more leaders, more directors, managers, execs, whatever, as true leaders that inspire it, but also listen and mentor and coach. And I say, and there's been a lot of research out there, that some of the best leaders are coaches for their teams. What would you say to leaders? What would you say to leaders that are either nervous about like mentoring or coaching their teams? They, for some reason, they don't want to talk personal. They want to keep it separate. They're worried. They're afraid they don't know enough, or they might hurt things and make them worse. And I'm pretty sure that's almost never the case if they're actually there to listen and they want the best for someone. But what would you say to leader that is a bit worried, or, I don't want to get personal, or I want to keep it separate, or can I help? Am I going to hurt it or make it worse? Or I don't know what to do. Or what would you say to a leader and how they can help?
One of the things I would say is suggest that they get support from actually a trained coach. I'm always a huge advocate for coaching, not just my coaching, but all coaches out there that are trained to be able to deal with situations like that. There's a lot going on right now. And I think with both leaders and employees alike, people are feeling isolated. And I think that they're really struggling with trying to get back into personal relationships again. And really at the basis of
Yeah.
humanity, we're all wanting to be humans helping humans at the end of the day. And if they don't feel they've got the right skill set, they don't feel like they'd be the best coach for somebody, to actually engage them in a conversation that says, would you be open to coaching? Do you find it would be helpful? Making sure that, they don't take that role on lightly. They're very busy. They've got other things to deal with. Usually they're managing budgets, and they're managing their the person that they're directing, that they report to. And so, there's a lot going on for them already. Do they have the time to do it based on the project work and the work that they have to do, and their key performance indicators? So, just a whole realignment. And you know what? Basically it comes down to creating space. That's what I do with my clients. When I partner with them, I create space with them to think and work through these things, and to solve the problems that are coming at them every day, whether it's their own problems or, things that they're seeing on their team, maybe some performance issues with certain individuals. All of that comes to light, and we figure out the next actions to take and what those priorities are in order to get them rectified. And what a lot of people tend to do is sweep those things under the rug, and all it does is
Yeah.
manifest in such bigger ways.
And you're right. It festers. It's like trying to sweep away a brush fire. Like, so sweep it away. It's just gonna get. People don't realize that I'll just it's under the brush this away, or I'll sweep it away, or it festers and gets worse and limits you more and more, and never goes away. So I like what you said about that. Is either find a coach like yourself, find a trainer like myself, or both. The coaching, I teach the tools leaders, helping to be unstoppable, amazing leaders that do help mentor and coach their teams. Because I mean, people's personal lives are a huge contributor, as much as we admit it or not, are a huge contributor. And their work and their fulfillment of work is a huge contributor to their performance or lack of performance. And I think the more we get that and take action on it, the better performance we have, better these leaders look great as well. They're having more success, and they're happier and fulfilled. And all it starts is just listening, a good conversation, asking some what's up, what's going on, what's not working, what do you need, how can I help, anything you want to talk about. I think it's as easy as that. And if they don't have time, you're right, is how to connect with someone, a professional like yourself, or a professional coach like yourself, to help them and just get them all these levels of learnings, breakthroughs, ahas as well. And again, like you said, leaders first, self first, right? And then we can be our best and help lead others to be their best. Any last thoughts around our topic today? That you to share how people can reach you. But last topics or thoughts about leaders, helping leaders help their employees, or even helping teams and individuals in general, and not having half of our population right now want to leave?
Well, I think the big picture is something to be looked at here. I don't know if companies realize the impact to their bottom line that when their staff, their leaders, and their employees aren't functioning at a full capacity, the costly impact that has, not from just a turnover perspective, which is incredibly expensive, which doesn't tend to be measured in a dollar factor.
Astronomically, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an astronomical bottom line cost. And then, the cost of not having someone in the job that's ideal for that position, that has strengths and natural tendencies to enjoy that work and be fulfilled by that work and get purpose and meaning from that work, has a massive impact on their key performance indicators, their performance at work, their overall happiness, and their willingness to want to stay on the job. We're seeing with millennials a very high turnover. We're looking at a year to 2 year tops with them. There's a great shift happening in the labor market that I think companies really need to start paying attention to. Leaders need to start monitoring very carefully. And the overall impact, which I'm always thinking about holistically, is what's the greater impact I can make for this person, for their team, and for the greater good of organizations across Canada who want their employees to thrive and be contributing to the bottom line, but to create a balance between both. I think we've been so bottom line focused, we've lost the humanity in a lot of cases, and to get back to the humanity of bottom line. It doesn't have to be like this.
I love that you do that. I'm interviewing a lot of leaders. Yeah, well, I've been interviewing a lot of leaders in your new book, World Class Influence, and they've said the same. We need to get humanity back in the workforce. This is why 40 to 50%, half people are looking to leave, guys. This is not a good thing, and it's because people are sick, like a number, treated like a nobody, treated on a cog in a wheel, and we need to bring humanity back. And that's what my next book, World Class Influence, is going to focus on that. And I'm interviewing all these great leaders, and a lot of them are saying we need to bring humanity back. We can't. it's not fulfilling for them to treat people, like a wheel, or for people to do the hire fire thing just so they can meet some numbers to make a massive bonus for the CEO or exec because, our costs are way down and our numbers haven't improved, but because there's less costs, I'm going to get my bonus check because our revenue. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to inspire people and have people contribute more and perform more and better. And then you'll have massive, massive, massive increases in revenue and performance. And then down as an exec, because when you start laying off people, it's going to come back to haunt you. That is for sure. So I love your message, love your ideas, help people do better and be better. And so how could you, Jackie, if people want leadership coaching, career coaching, figure out what's going on in their lives, how can people reach you?
So a lot of clients reach out through LinkedIn on my LinkedIn profile under Jackie Adama. And I also have a LinkedIn profile under 5 Point Perspectives, but they usually reach out to me personally because I offer a 30-minute complimentary clarity call. So there's no risk in having a quick chat with me. I'm not someone who tries to sell you into coaching. That's not how this works. It's about finding the right coach, the right fit for you based on what it is that you think you need. And if they want to take a look at my website, it's 5 Point Perspectives, as in 5, the number 5, pointperspectives.com. And they can reach out to me via email as well at Jackie, JACQUIE, at 5pointperspectives.com. And that's usually how people reach me and find me and set up time and then engage in coaching.
Cool. Very cool. Excellent. It's been a pleasure having you. Thank you very, very much for joining us. And I'll hear this. I appreciate it. And I had some fun here with you, learned a lot, and hope everyone does as well. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Always great to talk to you, James.